Hello. Don't want me to put my glasses on and get myself seated, and then we will begin. Hey, Krytor, how are you doing? Don't mind me, just had to find my glasses. I put them down somewhere, and being the blind person that I am, could not see them. So, had to quickly find them again. How are we? Obviously, first stream back in 2 weeks after solo parenting for a fortnight with little man. That has been interesting, to say the least. Stream, hi Signed. How are you doing? Making some more little adjustments with the camera, but don't mind me, guys. Today we are officially starting our 30k Lion. So Lion himself is actually a bit damp at the moment still from the paint, so I'll be starting on the base. But for reference, this is what 30k Lion looks like. Just make sure the camera's in focus the whole time so you can actually see him. Obviously he's sprayed black, so Signed, not good. Why are you not good? What's going on? His 30k Lion with his helmet on this time. Last time I did his face. This time I did not feel brave enough to do his face because he's a lot smaller. So this time he has the helmet. So Lion himself is still drying, but that's fine because we're going to start on the big base anyway, just because I have a bunch of Marines to do. My Primarch, mine too. So this is the base. As you can see, it's quite complex looking, but that's the reason why we're starting here and building our way up, because this I know is going to take me a while, whereas although Lion is intricate, I don't think he'll take me as long as this will, because in addition to painting him, I've got to paint, like, obviously I think it's 6 in total different dead guys, so I've got some extra work to do in comparison to my last one. And then it's just got a few little attachments, like his main base he'll be stood on eventually in the end, which will fit in here. And then we have our lone survivor here, which we also need to paint. But, like I said, we're going to be starting on this base today. So, start from the base up in this case. Today at work, there was an announcement that there is an intention to cut 25 jobs. Mine was safe, they said, but since they're cutting 25 from a department out of 100, that's a lot. Yes, it is a lot. And unnecessarily stressful. You definitely don't need to be dealing with stress like that. But it's good to be back streaming, and I have little man, obviously Mr. Nerd is back as of late last night, so he has little man for the next couple of hours, and then I'll be taking him back. But it's been a struggle, I'm not gonna lie. It's been amazing, obviously he's done really well, he's thrived this entire time, but best way to describe it, I have survived for the last fortnight, and I've been doing it on 3 hours of sleep every single night and no more than that. So how's the wee man? The wee man in himself is great. He's a little bit fussy right now. At the moment in the UK, there has just been a recall of a bunch of formula because they found out there was a toxin in it. And we discovered last week that his formula was on that list. So that was quite horrible to hear, because we've been wondering why he's been so grumpy and grouchy. Turns out he's been having something that's been upsetting his stomach and making him feel not very well. So we've switched his formula out, and since then he has been a lot better. I mean, a lot better, but he's still, 6 weeks old. So he's still just a baby, so he still has his moments of fussiness. Oh yeah, over here too, yeah. So they've recalled a bunch of it off the shelves, and originally it was just Aptamil. And I thought, okay, that's fine. And then last week they announced it was Cow and Gate as well. And they were like, oh, don't worry, it's only specific batches. So they're like, check your batches. Checked my batch in typical fashion. His batch was amongst the contaminated. And I thought, yes, I could go to the shop and just ask for a new one. But in the end, I just thought, no, I'll just switch the formula out. and it has worked well, luckily. My colleague had a baby in November, and she too had contaminated formula. Yes. Oh, dropping my paintbrushes already. Essentially, all of the formulas, they last for a year. Because obviously they're in powder form. So it's the batch until the beginning of January 2027 that is contaminated. So God knows how long it's actually been on the shelves and actually been contaminated and causing issues for people. Because a lot of the signs for it, unless your baby gets really, really severely sick with it, they just look like colic or like gripe issues, so like stomach digestive issues. So it's quite hard sometimes to tell whether or not they're genuinely sick with something related to formula or sick related to just having general digestive problems, which are really, really common in infants. So it was quite difficult to actually pinpoint exactly what was wrong. But then the minute we switched formula, a lot of his symptoms just went away. So it was like, that makes sense. Just grabbing my paintbrushes, don't mind me. Righty. Gonna start with Cantor Blue. Hey ho, hello Summit, how are you doing? Krytor, I have your, as you know, I've dropped you an email, I have your figure here with us. Now that Mr. Nerd is back, he's going to be building him in the next couple of days. And then I'll get started on your commission, which I'm actually very, very excited to do. I've been looking at lots of inspiration stuff for him. And his base is going to be really, really cool, so I'm looking forward to painting him. How is your Mrs. figure coming along? The Tyrannid. Just grabbing a slightly longer but thinner bristled brush. Because I need to be relatively intricate with this. I can't hear the little man, so I think he's behaving himself right now. Today has actually been the first day, because Mr. Ned's been home, that I've been able to actually catch up on some sleep as well. So I've been up since 4 this morning originally with little man. And then he decided that today was going to be a lazy day. He just wanted to sleep most of the day. So I too decided I would sleep a lot of the day. So I've had a good few hours today, try and catch up on some of the sleep I've lost over the last fortnight. Still nowhere near enough, but I've caught up on some. So that's better than nothing. Yeah, most of today's stream is just going to be painting this base. Just because it's going to be a pain to do. I'd rather get it done and out of the way first. Not to mention all these guys have got holes in them, so I'm actually able to use a bit of like a grim dark inspired look a little bit. And make them look a little bit more dishevelled, so. How's everybody been over the last 2 weeks then? Obviously I've had a lot of commotion in the Discord, which I'm very, very grateful for. And obviously had some really positive reactions to our face reveal video the other day. So, Mrs. Krytor has gone to work. Tyrannid unfinished. Happy to hear about Azzy. Sorry for not building him. Not a problem. I'm gaming, so sorry for slow replies as usual. Absolutely no worries. No worries at all. Are you playing Ark? Or something different? Sorry to hear about the form situation. Yeah, it's not been very pleasant, bless him. We were just like, maybe. And tried it, and fortunately, both fortunately and unfortunately, it's obviously been resolved, but it's just sad that for the last 2 weeks, / Arc today, cool, 2+ weeks, he's been getting formula, the only sustenance, the only thing he eats, and it's been contaminated and making him poorly. So that's a really, really sucky situation, like as a parent, to know that the thing you've been feeding your baby has literally made them poorly. It's not a nice feeling. Even though obviously we didn't know, so it's still Not great though. Like I said, how has everybody's last like couple weeks been then? Whilst I've obviously been online, but also offline. Also, I want to say thank you for the kind words in our face reveal videos as well. Video. See, now you officially know what me and Mr. Nerd look like. Obviously, a lot of our videos are going to be in this format, where obviously I'm behind the camera, and you'll just kind of hear me doing like a voiceover. But every now and then, we'll do obviously the competition videos once a month. Those videos will be face-to-face with the camera. So, it's got to get used to talking to a camera and not talking to a screen. / talking to myself. Because that is the perk of obviously, whenever I'm streaming, I'm talking to you guys and I'm interacting with you guys. But when I'm recording, I'm just talking into the ether, and a lot of the time, the only thing that can hear me is my infant. So it's a little bit like, oh. It was nice seeing your faces. Thank you again for watching the video. It's very much appreciated. Hope you guys enjoyed those figures. They were really, really fun to paint. I think for this next one, we'll actually set some parameters, like an actual challenge. Because before it was just kind of like just comparing our work, which was great fun. But I think we still need to pick a figure first and foremost. And actually set a challenge. So I don't know whether or not for this first one we'll do just like a time limit. So we have to complete it within a set amount of time. And then gradually over that we'll just switch to different challenges as we go. I think that might be a good one to start with though. So I was having a little drink break. I've completely switched away from having hot drinks now. Although I still love a cup of tea and a cup of coffee, I have not been able to finish one basically since my baby was born. And every time I'd end up drinking cold drinks, so it's I've got to give it up. Evening, Mrs. Nerd. Evening, chat. Hello, Stender. How are you doing? So I've completely switched to caffeinated cold drinks at this point. So although they're not the best for me, I'm drinking like sugar-free energy drinks just to kind of keep my caffeine levels up. Because obviously because with the contaminated issue with the formula, he was up sometimes for 4 hours straight just crying, which is a horrible, horrible thing. And as a result, it was getting sometimes 4 in the morning and I still hadn't slept. Hey Gray, how are you doing? Evening all. We're starting on the base of our 30k line today, as I've got quite a bit going on. It's a very, very busy base. But then we also have 30k Lion himself. Don't know if you guys have any plans for Valentine's Day. Tired as per, perhaps not as much as you, but I'm knackered. Hey, being tired is being tired regardless. Like, I will never judge another person ever for saying they're tired. Regardless of the situation, even as a parent, yes, I'm tired, but so are other people. Other people have other reasons to be tired. I chose to be a parent, therefore I chose the tired life. I was just saying he got a bunch of that contaminated formula, Grey. So that contaminated formula that's been going around has been making Wee Man sick for the last 2, potentially plus weeks, we don't know. At bare minimum, the last 2 weeks. And yeah, so we've switched this formula over now that we know he was drinking contaminated formula, and he's doing a lot better. But as a result, I have not had, over the last 3 weeks, just catching a break from filming a video for Valentine's and grabbing some food, amazing. Going to zoo with my cousin and godchild, amazing. What animals are we going to see? Any favourites that we're hoping to see or have seen? Valentine's Day itself, Mr. Nerd and I, Ever the Romantic, are going to Warhammer World. Of course we are. If anybody here has any plans for Valentine's Day. I might have to do something Valentine's Day themed because obviously Valentine's Day is on Saturday. I have a few other figures and stuff, so I think tomorrow I might sit down and do a all pink figure just for some fun, really, because I already have a few Space Marines dotted around that I haven't really used. So I was just going to say, I caught the end of that. One of my colleagues' grandkids has some, and they are super sick too, and really bad reaction to it. Hope the wee man is okay. He's doing okay now. We've switched to Kendamil. I want to see big cats. Of course, you need to see the big cats. He's doing much better now, Gray, but he was really poorly, bless him. Like, we were really concerned, thinking he had just really, really bad colic, really, really bad digestive problems, because he was just constantly, every time, he'd go to sleep for like 15, 20 minutes and then wake up screaming, and I mean screaming. And it was horrible, because my child's in pain, and I was like, it's just bad wind, surely. Like, it's just colic. I'll try with gripe water and all the other remedies, and obviously nothing was working, because it wasn't gripe or colic or another digestive issue. It was his formula that was making him poorly, which is really sad, because obviously it's the only thing he can eat. So we completely switched his formula out. Everyone was like, you could just take it back and get a new batch. It's like, yeah, but I no longer trust the company now, so I'd rather just not risk it. And since switching this brand as well, he seems to be taking to it really well. I think it's criminal that the formula companies can send that stuff out. Absolutely, I 100% agree. I think because it was just Aptamil originally, and now it's Aptamil and Cow and Gate, and for it to be a toxin as well, a toxin that cannot be destroyed in hot, by warming it up, which is the only way. Obviously, you sterilize bottles and then you sterilize the food by doing that. So they've literally sent out something that is causing harm to a lot of literally the most, innocent creatures in the world, babies. And it's a shame, because a lot of these companies, like, as far as formula brands go, these are like the less expensive brands in comparison to some. So now people are having to go for the more expensive stuff, which, I mean, in my opinion, like, money isn't an issue when it comes to my son. Like, if he wants to have the most expensive formula, because it's the only one he'll eat, that's like 20, 30 pounds a pop, if that's what he would eat, I would get it for him every week. I would just do it. But I'm in a position where I can afford to do that. Other people cannot. Like, the Cow and Gate milk that he was originally eating was like £9, between £9 and £12 a pot, which is really inexpensive as far as formula goes. And now the formula he's having now is like £15 a pot, I think. And some people, they just can't afford to, spend that extra bit. We dodged any of that with our daughter, as she was all straight about from the source. Yeah, honestly, like, it made me, when I was sat there this entire time thinking, I was like, why is it that the one thing my body was like, no, we're not doing this, I couldn't do, when it would have literally would have prevented a lot of issues. But luckily, like I said, Wee Man is, now that he's off. You're back, I am, Bo, how are you doing? Can officially get back to having my voice, don't know if that's a good thing, as part of your morning routine again. Apologies for causing such disruption to your morning routine, Bo. But now Mr. Nerd is back, like, the plan is to stream as much as physically possible. And obviously, if there's the odd day where I won't stream, obviously I'll just let you guys know. It doesn't work for everyone, sadly. No, it doesn't. And sometimes it's a case of, like, you get some of these people who are like overproducers, and they can just produce so much, but then they're really, really useful, because a lot of them then donate to hospitals and stuff, and then that milk can do really good things for, like, preemie babies and things like that. But in my case, it worked for a bit, and then my body was like, yeah, it's fine now, you're done. And luckily, like I said, it was like, oh, thank God he's on formula as well, so I don't have to stress about it. And then this happened. And it was like, for goodness sake. It's just a shame, because, like I said, Wee Man was really quite unwell. And we didn't know why. So this last 2 weeks, but I've been having 3 hours of sleep a night. It's really not been helping. My other half was a good cow, luckily, yeah. Able to feed the wee one. No, I remember at the beginning of when Little Man was born, I was producing a lot and doing really well with it. But then as a result, it was really tiring because I was feeding him, trying to pump to make more milk, and that was taking like half an hour every single time. And then naturally stuff just kind of like weaned off, 'cause it does that sometimes. And for me to give him one bottle now, I'd have to pump 6 times for half an hour each. It would not be worth it. Like, it's physically just not possible to maintain that kind of level. So it just wasn't the right decision to stay in that way. Oh, the little one's been sick. Yeah, so at the moment, Bo, we've had a massive problem with formula here in the UK, where 2 of our main brands here in the UK have been contaminated. They were sent out with a toxin in them. Bad formula. Yeah, they were sent out with a toxin in them, and it couldn't be killed in hot water, couldn't be killed by heating it up, and it causes basically stomach spasms, diarrhea, sickness, all sorts of stuff. Which unfortunately are also really common symptoms of colic and gripe and issues like that. So it sounds bad saying we're lucky in the sense of he didn't get it as bad as other babies, but we are lucky in the sense of he didn't get it as bad as other babies. But it was still horrible because every time he ate, he was obviously getting sicker, and then he'd sleep for 15 minutes and no more than 15 minutes at a time. And then he'd wake up literally screaming at the top of his lungs, and it was god awful. Like, it literally had me, I don't think I've cried as much as I did that first week of solo parenting. I have not cried that much in a very, very long time. But I was crying every single day, multiple times a day. Sometimes, I think at one point, it was like 6 or 7 times in one day, just sobbing, because I didn't know what was wrong with my son, and I just thought I was failing as a parent, because, there was nothing I could do to soothe him, and I didn't know at the time that it was his formula that was causing the issue. And then the last few days, we switched over to a new formula on Sunday. And as soon as we did that, it was like night and day, literally. His symptoms went away, and he's been brilliant since. So little man has been fortunately doing a lot better. Thank God. Because it was hard, really hard to watch. Yeah, that would take it out of you emotionally. It really did. It was the amount of times I'd get a call from Mr. Nerd, and Mr. Nerd was working nights for the first week, so I was getting a call around like midnight each night because I was still awake with little man. So I was getting 3 hours of sleep and emotionally drained. And I would say to him, yeah, I've cried like X amount of times today. And I'd explain the symptoms, and we'd just be there thinking, oh, he's just going through like a weird stage or something. It's like, nope, he was poorly. And we didn't realise, and well. Are you painting Smurfs on the base? No, I'm not painting Smurfs. I'm going to quickly just get a photo of the 40k lion, 30k lion, so you guys can actually see what he's supposed to look like at the end. Because I'm going to do lions separately, because this base is quite complex. I'm doing this base first, just so that it's out of the way. You're making progress quick. Night Lords, I assume? Yes, they are. So I'll quickly just get up the photo here so you guys can actually see what he is supposed to look like in the end. So this is what he will eventually look like. So we've got all the dead Night Lords on the base, and one that's still standing, basically trying to shoot Lion in the face. But obviously he's going to meet his demise. And then we have Lion with his helmet on. We decided to put his helmet on this time rather than have his helmet off, even though we had the option again. And yeah, that's it. So, but I thought, get this done first, and then that's kind of the hard part. The whole thing's going to be a bit of a challenge, but like that's the more difficult part of repetitiveness, I guess, being done and out of the way, and then I can focus on other things. So this is going to be, I think, a week and a half maybe long project to paint this guy, like paint the full thing. And he's a little bit smaller than the 40k line figure, so I have to be a bit more careful. So I'm going to be doing this basically for the foreseeable future. But the good news is, because all these guys are dead, I'm going to be making them kind of grimdark and obviously a bit gory, because the one I'm painting now. Would you airbrush, do you think? I would. I don't have one that works very well at the moment, unfortunately. The one I have right now is just like a basic makeup one. I bought it when I was doing my Eyes on Parade. If I had an airbrush, I would absolutely use it at this point, and I would just spray this whole thing blue. But the other option, of course, would have been to just get a blue spray paint and spray this whole thing blue, and then it would have made this whole thing a lot quicker. But, you know, hindsight is 20/20 and all that. So, but, you know, if I did that, then I would have less content to show you guys. So, silver linings, I suppose. Just means, unfortunately, you guys are going to have to just sit there and watch me paint a base for a bit. Sorry if it's not very entertaining. But how has everybody else been? Obviously, like I said, I've been solo parenting for the last 2 weeks. Those makeup ones are only good for base coat / priming, exactly. So I would have used it for this, but it takes so long to get the paint back out of it. It drives me insane. So I try my best to avoid using it if I can. And you need to thin the paint a lot, exactly. And even though I have the products for it and the airbrush, it's just the time it takes to do it, plus the fact that I'm inside and on a table, which is a very nice table. I really don't want to risk using it and then getting it anywhere. So all about ventilation as well, so not to mention can be very, very messy. Has anybody got any plans for this week, for Valentine's Day on Saturday? Anything like that? I think I'm going to do a Valentine's Space Marine, I think. Might take one of my Space Marines that I've got a bunch spare of and make a cutesy Valentine's one just for fun. So that's probably going to be Saturday's video, which we'll probably do tomorrow. Because it's a little bit funny, a little bit of a laugh, kind of not so, just kind of a silly video. Vincey V has a good video on quick cleaning your airbrush. When I'm using my makeup ones, it takes less than a minute to switch between paints. That's a very good shout. I will have to watch that, though. Definitely have to watch that. I need to get more solution anyway to actually clean my stuff properly. I've got the week off, but we're just gutting the house and installing new stuff, making beds and getting on a first name basis with the people at the tip. Oh yeah. That's, to be honest, we need to do a massive tip run. Like, we've lived in our house now for 3 years? 4 years this year? We have a shed and a summer house, which I say summer house very loosely. It's just like basically a giant shed that was built at the bottom of the garden that's falling apart, full of stuff still from when we moved in. But because we have the storage, we've just been leaving it out there. Going to a wedding reception this weekend. Ooh! So someone chose, obviously, the most romantic day of the year to get married on. That seems like a good choice. Because Mr. Ned came back yesterday. I'm up at 7 runs this week so far. My goodness, you definitely are going to be on a first name basis. They're like, oh, you're back again, are we? But obviously it's a lot of stuff you're taking out of the house, so it needs to go somewhere. but we've got so much stuff at this point, we've kind of decided that it would be easier for us to just get a skip. So we're going to just hire a skip and get rid of all of it in one go, because there is so much that needs to go. Like, we've got old carpets, we've got old flooring, we've got paint pots, we've got all sorts of rubbish. When we moved into our house, like, our house itself is about 80 years old, I want to say. The actual building itself is about 80 years old. And it was also, like, dressed down like it was in the 70s when we moved in. So as a result, there's a lot of stuff that needed to go. So we have a lot of rubbish that needs to go away in the bin. I'll send you an airbrush as thanks for Azrael. Oh, you don't need to do that. I don't have a space compressor though, Ha. We are eating at the favourite place this weekend, Emily Street apparently. Oh, that's very, very nice. That's very, very nice. What did your missus think of painting the Tyrannid so far, Krytor? Was she enjoying it? I know she was using the pens, which I know some people were obviously going back and forth in the Discord about whether or not they like them, but for a beginner, I think the pens are actually probably quite a good place to start. Just because then it's not too... You don't have to worry about like, technique when it comes to brushes or anything. You can kind of just get used to painting, and then obviously if she likes it, then she can move on to brushes. Also, the brushes that your dad had look absolutely amazing. We got new fridge freezer, tumble dryer, bunk bed, desk, combi thing for the daughter's room, and dishwasher, so old fridge has to go, along with 7 boxes, little ones. A bed came in of junk / broken stuff. You've got a lot of building to do, my friend. If you haven't already. I bet she's excited about having a little bunk bed combi thing though. I loved my bunk bed when I was a kid. In my case, it was because I shared a room with my sister, because we lived in armed forces accommodation because I was a military child, and it was like a 3-bedroom house with 3 kids and 2 adults. So me and my sister shared for most of my life. Those are Artist Opus brushes. They look absolutely incredible. So it's a really lovely little find there. And I know they're in good hands with you, so... She's enjoying the pens. She fixed her mistakes with a brush and Wraithbone. Hopefully she hasn't itched anymore. I think it's a good place to start. And worst case scenario, Krytor, even if it's just once a month where she paints the mini of the month, then she's doing something. You know, you've got your shared hobby in that regard. You can be sat there painting your Dark Angels while she's using the pens to paint a mini herself. But like I said, everyone in the Discord is obviously there to support her as well. So if she wants to share her work, we are happy to see it. From what I saw of the colour scheme already, it looks really cool. She's picked a good bit so far. Pure Joker 4599. The model of the lion is something I love, although I'm afraid of what I like is then being pro-painted. I'm too scared to do anything but basic infantry. Maybe one day I'll pick up the plastic lion. I will quickly go grab my 40k lion to show you. He's in his cupboard right now. Like I said, our cupboard of Warhammer. I'll quickly get 40k lion to show you. I've already painted 40k lion. And I will obviously welcome 30k. I found 7 airbrushes. One seems to be a duplicate. I'd be happy to send it. I think it's mid-range one. If you use it, I think it would be a nice thank you. Again, like I said, you don't have to, but if you want to send one, Krytor, it will be used. I can assure you of that. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I'll quickly grab my 40k line. And back. We have 2 cabinets just full of Warhammer stuff. I'm a little disappointed, in this month's mini. A single gaunt is pretty meh. It is, that's the reason why I went ahead and did the crystal base with mine as well. I just wanted to give it a little something. So, this is my 40k lion. He was pretty scary to obviously do, but I can assure you it's worth painting because this is like the first big figure I did, and I'm still in love with him. Like how he turned out, I love it so much. And he will be used when I do my combat patrol, when I actually play, he will be used. So that was flashy. Yeah. Everything's kind of in the same room at the moment. Our dining and living room is all kind of connected, and we have 2 ginormous cabinets of Warhammer in our living room. I agree, Boquette, but it did give me a good opportunity to entrust the others. The other half with having a go. Yes, that was flash. The lion looks wonderful. Biggest model I've ever painted was the Swords Knight Praetor. It's such a cool model. It really is. Again, with that one, I did it in stages, so a bit like this, where I've got everything in individual pieces. I definitely needed to do it this way, because otherwise I would have issues. Yeah, awesome model and a great paint job. Thank you so much. That's what it's all about, Krytor. Exactly. It really is. I think, like I said with this, I was looking at this for weeks. We've had him for about a month and a half, 2 months now. And I've just been staring at him going like, oh, we need to get him started. We need to do that. But I wasn't going to do it on anything other than stream. And in the same breath, I was like, I've been telling people I need to start it. And people have been asking for it. But I've been scared to do it because it's so many complex little pieces. But it's one of those things where the minute you start it, you'll just get on with it. I think my next one, once I've done this, I will be moving back away from 40k. Probably for the only time in the beginning part of this year, because I have Alariel to paint still. Alariel the Everqueen, which is a humongous figure. Absolutely humongous. And she still has not been painted. I've had her since last Valentine's Day. So, literally, my Valentine's Day present last year was Alariel the Everqueen on her giant beetle. It's a humongous model, and it needs to be done. So that's the next big one. So once I have done Lion, I will paint her, and then I think we'll just be doing our combat patrol. I think we'll be doing our Dark Angels. In amongst doing, obviously, our weekly videos. Which on average is like 1 to 2 videos a week. It just depends on what we're painting. If it's a really big project, then I'd rather just put out 1 video and have it be high quality than... My IG's closed this month because they're going to they're doing a remodel and I'm getting withdrawal symptoms. That is a problem. You'll have to find your find something else to kind of spend the time on. I'm sure you'll be in there like a flash when it's opened again. Our plans for Valentine's Day, we are going to Warhammer World for our Valentine's Day treat this year. And it's kind of crazy how much it has changed in a year, because this time last year we were like trying for little man, trying for our baby, and now this year we're going to Warhammer with our baby. So it's like a little bit of like a wholesome thing as well. That a lot of things can change in a year. But I'm sure the remodel will look really, really cool when it is done. It'll be worth the wait, I'm sure. Have to bounce. Thank you for stream. Thank you for joining, Bo. And we'll see you next time. I'll be up again tomorrow, so if you're up tomorrow, then we'll see you tomorrow. Stender, how has your recovery been since your operation? How are you doing now? Are you more or less back to normal now? I've already lost track of how many figures I've painted this year already. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping count. But I think, obviously we've got the thing with the Warhammer stores, where it's like declaring how many figures you painted. I'm tempted to do that each year anyway, just do like a little tally so I can, at the end of the year, figure out exactly how many figures I've painted. So we'll do like a little recap video at the end of each year to do that. I'm doing great, thank you for asking. No pain or anything, amazing. I'm healing just fine. Next project, quit smoking. Today is my first whole day without a cigarette. Congratulations, you're one day towards obviously quitting it for good. So I'm proud of you. Well done. Did you work out yesterday? Because obviously with postpartum I can't work out or anything that do too strenuous until 6 to 8 weeks postpartum. Thank you. You're so welcome. But you should be thanking yourself. You're doing all the work. I'm not. You're doing all the hard work yourself. I can't do any like working out or anything like that till 6 to 8 weeks postpartum, because obviously having a C-section, I had to cut through like 7 layers of muscle tissue and all sorts. So my core, as a result, like I haven't been able to really work it since being pregnant. So it's something I want to get back into. It's one of my aims for 2026, is just kind of get a bit healthier anyway. But because of obviously having a baby and obviously doing all that, I worked out yesterday I've lost 20 pounds, which is 10 kilograms in 6 weeks. So in the first, I've already lost 10 kilograms of weight in the first 6 weeks of 2026, which is amazing, because I don't think I've actually been this size for a very long time. But I went out and bought clothes the other day, because I was like, I needed a few things, because obviously body has changed a little bit since having a baby. Understandably, it will. I grew a human. So I thought, I'll treat myself to a few clothing. What did I miss? I stepped out for a bit. Issue with the laptop. No worries, signed. That's awesome. Thank you, Gray. So just saying, since little man's been born, in the first 6 weeks, I've lost 10 kilograms in weight. So I've lost 20 pounds. I'm still here just painting the score. No worries, Gray. You work on what you need to work on. I've lost 7 kgs. It's never amazing, but not because of a baby. I'm just fat. You're losing weight. You're getting healthier, signed. A win is a win. I obviously had in my case, I lost something pretty drastic. I had a literal human taken out of me. So of course my weight's going to drop. I had a human come out of me. Out of that 10 kilograms, 4 of those were just him. So the rest has been general weight loss, but 4 kilograms was just the baby. Hope everything's off with your laptop now, though. We're also just saying Stender is working on quitting smoking. He is officially 1 day into being smoke-free today. So we're saying big congratulations to Stender. That sounds suspiciously like cheating. Yep, that's it. Suspiciously like cheating. I had a little infant taken out of me, lost 4 kilograms, but I did the rest. But yeah, there's a little cheat code. If you want to lose 4 kilograms quick, have a baby. And have it physically forcibly taken out of you. That's the good way of doing it. I don't recommend it though. Like, as much as he's worth it, the big old surgery you have to do, it's a bit brutal. Thing is, though, when I was, yeah, the laptop's fine now, thanks to an IT friend, amazing. Gotta love an IT friend, they make everything easier. In my case, I don't have an IT friend, I have an IT husband. So, Mr. Nerd generally fixes a lot of my issues, and then he goes, you need to learn how to do this. I'm like, I would, but you know how to do it, so I don't really need to know how to do it that much, because you can do it for me. Also, every time I've tried, I just make things worse, so I just kind of leave it to him to fix. And if he can't fix it, we go to an actual IT specialist. But yeah, as soon as I can, I've got another week and a half before I have my review with my doctor to be like medically cleared. Because I feel physically fine in myself, recovered really, really well, except for the fact that my incision got infected, which is obviously not so pleasant. But antibiotics have cleared that up straight away. I'm fine. So I'm now officially, in my opinion, in a good position to start. I have to dip, enjoy the stream, look forward to watching the next one. See you later, Krytor. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here. But yeah, it's, I have to wait another 2 weeks. Normally the checkup's like every 6 to 8 weeks, but I have to wait for the full 8 weeks. Which is a little bit irritating, because I've never been one to work out, or had the desire to work out, but since having little man, that's changed. I really do want to work out, and I just physically can't. Well, I can, but, you know, it would be a bit risky without getting the all clear from my doctor. So, for that case, I'm, you know, following orders and not doing it. You may have seen in my latest video, if any of you guys have watched it, I had a few issues regarding my cats. So multiple times when I was painting the mini of the month, I had my cats on the desk trying to, best of the doctors clear you, don't want trouble afterwards. Exactly. That's the main reason why I'm waiting. Even though I feel physically great, I would rather just give it the full 8 weeks and have my doctor go, yep, you're all good, than risk going into it too early and hurting myself and end up having to have a setback. Because like I said, I'd never really have had the desire to work out, but since having little man, I do. So it was great watching you guys do a face reveal. The mind tends to imagine stuff when you only hear voices and see a hand paint. Yes, I saw them helping. Yes, my cats were quote unquote helping. And whilst I had that, I had my infant across my lap, I had the cats on the table, and when I didn't have my infant on my lap, I have a baby sling, which I wear on my chest. So I had my baby on my chest. So for the entirety of my paint, I had my cat on my child on me, and my cat's trying to help me with attacking my paintbrushes. So painting stuff is interesting now. It's really fun. It's also really stressful at times. So sometimes it takes me a few extra days to get a video out, because one, I'm still obviously adjusting to the routine of being mum, but also just because it takes me that much longer. Because once I've done the recording, I have to then obviously edit the stuff, which takes me half an hour, 45 minutes to edit the footage together, write the script, and then record the script. Recording the script is hard when you have an infant who wants to cry every 2 minutes, so I have to wait for the windows where he's generally asleep, and sometimes that works, sometimes that does not. So little man is currently crying right now, causing Mr. Nerd a few issues, which is a bit of a shame because he's been asleep with me most of the day. And poor Mr. Nerd, he's come back to his first full day back, which was today, and immediately had to take little man, and he's basically just causing him some grief. So, sorry Mr. Nerd, that you're dealing with little man being upset. But I'm going to go till 9 o'clock. So I'm going to do 2 hours, and then once I've done that, I will then go relieve Mr. Nerd of the wee man, so he can sit and do some gaming, and I'll probably just sit upstairs with him for a minute and just kind of give Mr. Nerd a little break from baby noises. Because as much as you make some really cute noises, sometimes when your baby is crying incessantly for multiple hours, it does get a little bit frustrating in your head because all you can hear is that noise. This is the only one where I have to be a bit careful because he's the only one with his face out of all of my Marines, so he's the only one that I have to be a bit careful of. But yeah, my cats, they like to try and help me when I'm recording. And it's interesting, to say the least. Especially in that case, obviously you could see the ginger one attacking my brushes, but I had my ragdoll in front of me, just wanting to be around for emotional support purposes, clearly. But yeah, jobs definitely take a lot longer now that I have a little man. Not that that's a problem. It just means stuff takes a bit longer to get done. And I think most people are really, really patient when it comes to this stuff. And also, it's a good thing for me because I'm one of those people where I get a bit irritated or frustrated when I don't do things, and because I'm a very, I like to be punctual with a lot of the things I do. And as much as when that's possible, it's obviously really great, it's not always possible. And it used to really wind me up and get me quite anxious or frustrated. And now that obviously I've got a little man, I have to kind of sometimes take a step back and chill out. Like today, I had a load of laundry in the washing machine that I needed to get out to hang to dry. But I had wee man asleep on me. And Mr. Neb was like, just stay there, just let him sleep on you. He's asleep, let him sleep. Don't disturb him, just stay with him. He was obviously enjoying being held and cuddled and snoozing. So I was like, okay, I'll wait, and then ended up dropping off myself. Still huge respect for finding the time and energy to do hobby stuff and even streaming. Honestly, like I said, if Mr. Nab wasn't home this week, I wouldn't be able to do any of the streaming stuff. But it's a lot easier, obviously, when there's two of us. When it's just me, it is a lot harder. And like I said, especially over the last fortnight, with it being solo parenting and little man being poorly, it was just a bad mix through and through. I know we were just speaking about cats. I have the cat that was causing me grief currently just got up on the table trying to eat my paintbrushes. I don't know why you insist on doing this whilst I'm streaming, buddy. Thank you. I had like one paintbrush in my pot that was still a little bit disheveled and wasn't really used for anything except for like roughing stuff up. So I've just tossed it onto the floor for the cat to bat around to kind of get him away from the water dish. Because again, the other day whilst I was doing my Tyrannid video, he decided to throw my water all over my desk, which is great fun. So I was like, oh, okay. Again, he's quite fond of that one. He likes to knock my water off. But yeah, I think it's definitely a challenge, and obviously when they're crying continuously, it can be a bit overstimulating and it can be stressful because you just want them to obviously stop screaming. Obviously it stops eventually. But I do feel bad for Mr. Nerd a little bit because he has been more or less peacefully sleeping all day with me. Because I was actually able to catch up on some sleep today during the day for a change. And normally I can't nap during the day. Because, again, like it's that thing of if I'm awake and I'm just lying there on the sofa, I feel a bit guilty. Because I feel like I'm not doing stuff that needs to be done. And sometimes even when I am doing the stuff that needs to be done and caring for my newborn and trying to do... Oh, goodness. Catch threw himself off of the unit. Hope he's okay. Everything shook then because my cat decided to throw himself off of his cat tower. Are you okay? He's now just jumped up on the desk to kind of look at me like, Having to take my water and my drink off the table, just in case he decides to try and drink from them or knock them over. You can lie there. Just don't come any closer and don't put your feet in the paint. Would appreciate if you did do that, mate. Stressful, sure, but absolutely worth it, absolutely. Being a parent, being a part that both enjoys and some hobby is getting a little one together. You guys have won in life. Honestly, I really appreciate it. You're only human. There's only so much you can get done in a day. Exactly. And it's hard. And especially over the last 2 weeks, I can only have 2 hands. And in some cases, because my child's a Velcro baby, he has to be like on me at all times. Sometimes I only have 1 hand. So it takes me a lot longer to do stuff. So there's been a few times this week where, over the last 2 weeks, where I've looked at my house and it's been a complete bomb site. And I'm like, I did not clean my house at all like I wanted to today. And then I kind of look down at my infant and I'm like, yeah, but he's still alive and I'm still alive. Barely, but I'm still alive. So at that point I was like, yeah, you have to kind of pick and choose your battles, and I've managed to keep a human alive on my own. So it's still win-win. Yeah, being a pair that both enjoys the same hobby and getting a little one together, like it's... In many ways, I completely agree with you, Stunder. We've definitely won at life. Does he still fit in his Primark onesie, or does he need to have a new one? That one is 0 to 3 months. I haven't actually put him in it the last couple of weeks, but he might still just fit in it. It was a little bit small for a 0 to 3, so I'd have to see. But bearing in mind, this baby by 4 weeks old was already in 0 to 3 months clothing because he's really long. So, meanwhile, I have another lass who is like relatively local to me. She has a baby who's 2 weeks older than little man, and she was like, "Oh yeah, she's only just now growing out of her 0 to 1 clothing." And I'm like, "Yeah, he grew out of that weeks ago. Like he does not fit in his up to 1 month clothing anymore at all. Everything's a bit tight on him otherwise, or he just looks like he's been crumpled into it and just looks at me like I look ridiculous. Please get this off me." So. But like I said, we go to Warhammer World pretty frequently. So we have quite a good relationship with the manager of the Warhammer store, of the Warhammer World store section, the Warhammer World in general. He's a really lovely guy. He saw me quite a lot throughout my pregnancy, from being barely pregnant to really heavily pregnant. We haven't been back since little man was born. And now he's 6 weeks old. About to be 7 weeks again, 7 weeks on Friday. So he'll be 7 weeks when we go to Warhammer World on Saturday. So they would have seen like a little full circle moment. And I was just saying earlier on, like how it was crazy that this time last year we were like, we really want to have a baby, let's try for a baby. And now this year we are going in with a baby. Crazy what a year can make, the difference it can make. I have to get used to kind of hearing little man cry and not being the one to immediately soothe him. Little man needs to be indicated into the world of Warhammer, inducted into the world. Yes, he does, absolutely. He will be. Like, as soon as he's old enough, it's that thing of, like, Mr. Nerd has a few hobbies that he really wants little man to get into. Like, he loves his gaming. I'm sure little man will be into gaming based on the track record. He'll probably be into Warhammer. And Mr. Nerd eventually wants to get a motorcycle, so it would be really, really cool if he gets into that as well, because that would be really, really awesome to see. So I think there's a bunch of hobbies that we're hoping little man will pick up on that we like, and then we can do stuff together as a family when he's a bit bigger and a bit older. So yeah, get him into battle honor stuff when you get it. Get his freebie minis, exactly what we will be doing, Gray, I can assure you. How is your little one getting along with her stuff? Is she enjoying the Warhammer stuff? So she insisted on her one being purple, I remember you saying in the Discord. Just want to literally pop in here. If anybody who is watching this who isn't commenting, that's absolutely fine. But if you wouldn't mind subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out on streams like this, then that would be really awesome. Also, please the algorithm gods so we can, you know, show this to more people and get more people involved in our little community. And if you have Discord and you're interested in joining our Discord, then please go down to the description in the video and join us there. And it's a really great place. We really have a lot of fun over there. So if you want to join us, feel free. She painted her marine purple and then abandoned it. Yeah, she's like, I've done the bit that I need to do. I'm done now. I've done the hard part, she says. Not that I blame her. She's like, yeah, I'm done now. She's got more exciting things to play with, I'm sure. This painting, waiting for it to dry stuff. I can't do that. Like, I've got toys that need playing with. Are you crazy, Dad? Was the purple mini in the Discord? I should remember, was it, Gray? Did we put it in the Discord? I remember you mentioning it in the Discord. Has anybody got any projects they're working on at the moment? Kirby and Pokemon on the Switch are more interesting. Exactly. Like, in her little mind, she's like, I could sit here and watch paint dry and then apply another layer, or I could go play with Kirby. Yeah, sorry, Dad, but Kirby's winning. My Daemonettes, yeah, they definitely are a big project that need a lot of attention. Doing their skin is interesting. Yeah, I'm sure it is, to be honest. So I'm just making sure my brush is really clean before I switch it onto a new one. Because I'm going to move on and just paint the rocks and stuff like that to get this base painted. Like I said, it's been an hour and all I've done is painted a bunch of light blue. But, like I said, as soon as this is done, we can then move on to the fun stuff, which is from tomorrow, we can officially paint, or start painting, 30k Lion himself. But everything's sprayed and ready to go, so we'll paint 30k Lion, who is actually quite intricate. He's got a lot of extra details that the 40k Lion doesn't have in as much detail, so he's going to be fun. School the Falconer, an old school Wood Elf mini. I have Dark Angels ongoing. I have Khan staring at me, and my Prestigors in the immediate vicinity. I'm working on a Valentine's Day video tonight, and other than that, I'm painting a little on a certain miniature that I plan to bring along with me to England this summer. Winky face. Don't know how much Mr. Nerd has talked about it. He hasn't actually, Stender. So I'm gonna leave that as an unknown thing. I have no clue. He hasn't mentioned it to me. But now I'm intrigued. This is a problem. Now I want to know. Just going to go in with some Eshin Grey to paint these rocks for a base paint. I'm going to go in and dry brush them afterwards. But we're going to start with the dry brushing, a base of Eshin Grey. Very much looking forward to that trip though, Stender. Looking forward to meeting you in person. If you guys haven't been over to Stender's channel, he's started doing monthly like battle reports. So each month he kind of shares stuff that he is like working on, or like general life stuff, and it's really, really cool. His shareholder meetings is what he refers to them as. He did his first one 10 days ago. So if you guys want to look some interesting content, I'd recommend watching that. So, never been to England before, and it's great to have the opportunity to meet new people with the same passions. Yeah, we're really looking forward to it. Stender is coming to the UK. Yes, he is. It's very, very exciting. Be in July, Stender? I want to say. My memory is not the best, but I want to say first week of July. Does my memory serve me right this time? Probably would have good idea to do this guy first and then the other guys. Have fun. I'm sure he will, because you've got you and your partner are coming over. And I know she said she's interested in going to a zoo whilst you're here. Don't know if you guys have picked a zoo yet. And obviously you've got Nottingham to explore. And obviously Warhammer World. So you've got a few things to look forward to in the week that you are here. Or 5 days, I think it was, something like that. In the time that you're here, you have stuff to look forward to. July's the plan so far, but it depends on you guys also, of course. I think Mr. Nerd has just kind of like put his thing in saying he needs that first bit off, because he's mentioned it to them. It's like far enough in advance that he can request certain weeks off. Obviously, I'm on maternity leave. I have nothing planned except for survive the first year of motherhood. So, as far as timing, it works for us. So I think it would just be waiting now on Mr. Nerd to confirm whether or not he can do that first week or another week in July. But as soon as we know, obviously, we'll drop you a message and let you know. Definitely should have done this grey first and then done the Night Lords. But we live and we learn. Because it's not the most interesting of models to paint at the moment, because I'm just doing the base. But once these guys are actually all painted, which will be tomorrow, I'll finish these guys off tomorrow and probably start Lion tomorrow. Because I'm only going to do like the base of these tomorrow, and then I'm going to really make them, and then I'm going to push this one to a side, do Lion. And then once that's done, I'm going to come back to this and do like a grim dark inspired base. Obviously all these guys are dead, so I want to make them look a bit extra gory. And you know, and I'm not running with a big one for bases, so like, normally that's where I give up. So, but because this base is so intricate, I want to put a lot of effort into it, so it requires me to actually try a bit more with my base. So it kind of forces me to do it. Otherwise it looks rubbish, and I don't want the rest of the figure to look really good and then the base to look like I've not tried. So we'll be coming back to this after we do the basics of it. We'll do the base paint and then I'll leave it at that and go on to Lion himself. This will be coming back tomorrow anyway. This is probably going to be like a week or so project of painting this. And obviously I'll paint this on stream, and then I will do my regular content for videos. And obviously if there's ever a day where I'm just not in the mood for streaming, I'll obviously let you guys know. But for the most part, it will be every day because Mr. Nerd is home for the next 3 weeks. So my plan is to stream as much as possible in the next 3 weeks. Hope you guys are up for that Danish taste test video I've talked about earlier. Absolutely. Standard, absolutely. It's going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm going to see, like, now you've seen our faces, you can get to see the funny reactions when we try stuff that we either like or really don't like. We'll have to kind of get you a bunch of British stuff as well. Like stuff that is stereotypically British. Obviously with a lot of the English sweets and stuff like that, it is all over the world. But we'll have to get you like a little mix of stuff. So obviously when you think of the UK, like for me it's chocolate. The first thing that comes to mind is Cadbury. Good old Cadbury's chocolate, which is delicious. No denying that. But we also have a little place, a little thing in the UK called Cadbury's World. So, and as a girl who had family in the West Midlands, I spent a lot of my time in childhood. That was a day trip out. Iron Brew, yep, Iron Brew has to be in there. It has to. Full English breakfast, yes. Full English breakfast. Then you've got, obviously if you're doing that, you've got to do the black pudding. Pasties, yep. You've got to have some stuff from the south where I'm from. So you've got to have some pasties, some Cornish stuff, some scones. Some people say scones, some people say scones. I say scones. But with jam and cream, exactly. Has to have the jam and cream. And then of course you have the whole debacle about whether or not it's the old, which goes on first. Which being a Devon girl. You then, Greggs, yep, you can't beat anything from Greggs. My bestie's husband drank loads of Iron Brew whilst I was there. Iron Brew is good. I haven't actually had it in a long time though. A Greggs sausage roll specifically, Gray. You need to try a Greggs sausage roll. Traditional fish and chips. Roast dinner. Greggs, yep. Steak bake, yep. Can't be a good steak bake either, Summit. Everything's making me hungry now, guys. Thanks for that. But yeah, his extending is going to be giving like sweets and just going to be giving like all the savoury goods. It's basically he's going to go to Greggs and just buy you a bunch of stuff from Greggs. Yeah, carvery with Yorkshire pudding. Has to have the Yorkshire pudding. Oh, signed. Have you managed to make the Yorkshire puddings yet? I sent you that recipe. I know you made scones the other day, which with when you went to see your parents, they looked amazing. We used to have a Greggs here, but it never really caught on. We have our own bakery, and the competition was too much. Yeah, to be fair, I think it just sometimes you have to kind of stick to your lane. And in our case, you know, Greggs, stick to the UK. We know what we're doing over here. We're happy to keep you. No, I forgot. No, it's fine. You'll have to make some Yorkshire puddings with some gravy, signed. Maybe do like a mini roast dinner. I can even send you a recipe if you want of all like the basics that go into a roast dinner. I can send you that if you want to as well. So you can make yourself like a mini one at home. Because I've done that a few times when it's just been me at home. And I just really fancy a roast dinner, but don't fancy the faff of making everything. But yeah, you've got a lot of goods to look forward to then, Stander, to put it that way, and it sounds so far like most everything is going to be savoury. A roast dinner, you sent me a recipe for something. I sent you a recipe specifically just for Yorkshire pudding mix a while ago. But I can send you a bunch of stuff for a roast dinner or a carvery. So a carvery is another one referred to as a roast dinner. So a Sunday roast is also a common word for it. So I can send you a recipe for or a list of all the basic stuff that's generally in a roast dinner, if you wanted to make a full thing to go with the Yorkshire puddings. Although you can make Yorkshire puddings and put them with just about anything. Up to you, really. Sure, send me that. No worries, I absolutely can. Toad in the hole, exactly. It's top tier. Again, I haven't had that in ages either. Caramel wafers. Oh, I forgot about caramel wafers. Tea cakes as well. Another one to go in the packet. Treacle tarts, yes. Maybe you can ask my mother to help with that. Absolutely, I'm sure she'd love it. Eton mess. Can't beat an Eton mess. Love an Eton mess. Tell me when to stop. Absolutely not. Keep going. Keep going. The only negative is you're making me hungry now, Gray. And this is a problem. Because I have to do this. Tea cakes, exactly. Tea cakes. I love those. They are good. I have to come back and screenshot this all this stuff, Gray. That was me sending you a message going that list you sent me on that stream a while ago, send it all to me. I'm getting the packet together. I need the goods. Give it to me. There is a lot though. There's a lot to offer. I had so many when I was over. We don't count them. You were here over Christmas time. You don't count calories at Christmas. Pardon the turn of phrase, but you don't. So apparently our Chinese takeaways are different from other places. How so? Is it because we have chips on ours? Because on our list I know we have chips. But if it's another reason, then let me know. If you look on a list for a Chinese takeaway, there will be chips on there somewhere. At least they do here. Don't know why, but they're on there. There was a place where I used to live where I love those snowballs too. Yep, snowballs were good. It was a little chippy. English breakfast is different to Scottish breakfast and Irish breakfast, so there's all three. It is indeed. So it's 3 options, 3 different breakfasts. Snowballs are nice, they are nice. It was a chippy that was just a normal British-owned chippy. And then they kind of sold it to somebody else, and they sold it to a family who was Chinese, and it became a Chinese and a chippy. So now it does both. So it feels strange going to a place with a massive fish on the front door and it's actually for your Chinese. But it's actually pretty good. I don't know, I never had one abroad, but apparently Americans say ours is very different. Oh. Also, not to mention the fact we call it a Chinese. We call things, do you want an Indian, do you want a Chinese? That itself is a very, unique thing to us. It's very distinct. Most places are okay, do you want to go for a takeout, a takeout or have a takeaway? And they'll go, oh, do you want to go for a Chinese takeaway or something like that? We'll just go, oh, do you want a Chinese? And people are like, what do you mean, do you want a Chinese? And it's no, do you want a Chinese? In this case, it just means food. Do you want to go for a Chinese food? So it's even down to the way we say stuff. It's very, very different. That confuses a lot of people, apparently. And it could get... I remember there was a bit of a faff about it last year, or the year before, where there was an American who came over visiting and got really, really offended by the fact we referred to things. It was it went viral for a minute, and it was people how dare they call them this? This is really, really... this feels really racially insensitive. It has nothing to do with race. It's literally just down to what we call things here in the UK. It's do you want an Indian? Do you want a Chinese? Yes, we do. And we're referring to a takeaway. We're not referring to anything else. We're just referring to food. Very food-focused country. Sounds like the wee man has stopped screaming, so I think Mr. Nerd has managed to lull him to sleep. Problem is, I've got, like, since I've been on my own with him the last 2 weeks, the phantom crying is really bad. So there's been times where it's been like dead silent in my house, and he's been asleep for once, and I'll be awake, sleep deprived, and suddenly I think I can hear him crying, and I'll run in. We say, are we eating Chinese? We mean the food. Yes. Yeah, but apparently in the States, like, it's not a common thing. So they're like, what do you mean? Are you eating a Chinese? And it freaks people out. And it's like, we're referring to food. We're not referring to anything else, I promise. We're not that weird. I mean, we're weird, but we're not that weird. I promise. Phantom crying. So phantom crying is a thing that is really, really common to mothers. I don't think that ever goes away. No, I don't think it will either. I spoke to a friend of mine. She has a 7-year-old, and she says she still hears him crying sometimes. It's like an instinctive thing, where it's like an evolutionary thing, where if your infant is crying, you can hear, like, you're more sensitive to their cries anyway. And it serves as an evolutionary thing. Obviously keeps them out of danger. Often referred to as a different term up here, which is borderline racist. Yes, that's the other one as well. With the phantom crying, basically I can hear him crying, and he's not actually crying. He's dead asleep. But I can hear him, and it's only unique to his cry. I can hear other babies cry and it won't affect me. But if I hear his cry, I'm really tuned into it. So there's been times when I've literally only been in the next room over, so it should be really, really clear if he's crying. Like, our layout of our living room area, just for reference, is like open plan. There's only one wall separating our kitchen from our dining and living room area. So it's really, really, the rest is just open, so it should be really, really obvious what's real crying, what's phantom crying. Stender, I should finish recording my video for Saturday and then go to bed. Thank you for the stream. Wonderful to have you back. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your evening, Stender, and we will see you again soon. Thank you for joining us. But yeah, it's like I can hear him crying. I'll rush into the living room, wonder what's going on, and he's dead asleep. And I'm like, okay, how's this happened? But it's been obviously very extra bad this week because I've been so sleep deprived. So every time I hear crying, which has been more or less constant, I've yeah, it's been hard. My brain's been completely screwed. My brain's been a bit fried. So I think today, having a little man be so calm and getting to catch up on some sleep was a godsend. It really, really was, because I've been up since he woke up about 3:30 crying. He then ate, went back to sleep for about 20 minutes, and then woke up again. And by 4 o'clock, I was still awake from when he woke up at 3:30, because I just couldn't drop off. And I just went, well, okay, I guess I'm up. And I just came downstairs, had some caffeine, which obviously at that time in the morning is probably not advised, but I didn't know how long I was going to be awake for before I got any sleep. He then went to sleep for about 5:30 in the morning. He went back to sleep. So I had a little nap until 7 when he woke up again. And then at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he just dozed off. So I laid down with him because he was getting a bit fussy. So I just laid down with him and did like a little contact nap. And that contact nap sent me to sleep as well. And then eventually, Mr. Nerb was like, if I can't beat him, join him. And he had a little nap as well. So the whole family had some sleep. So it was a very sleepy household today. But a necessary sleepy. Caffeine doesn't work on me. It doesn't do anything for me in regards to keeping me wired, but what it has helped with is those night feeds, that nighttime period when he's just really restless and doesn't want to go to sleep. But I've had to switch to, like, please don't judge me too hard, I've had to switch to energy drinks. I know some people are, like, really against energy drinks, but I've had to switch to energy drinks for caffeine, because the caffeine really does make the world of difference when he's up till 2 in the morning, because it just keeps me a bit more sane, because I'm not, like, dying to get into, like, just crawl into my bed and go to sleep. So it keeps me a bit more sane. And it helps with pushing through that window where it's just really awkward. So I've been having an energy drink just to kind of get the caffeine in. But the good thing is, it doesn't keep me awake. It just keeps me awake when I need to stay awake. But the minute I put my head down and close my eyes, I drift off, no worries. But yeah, it takes me a minute otherwise. And last 2 weeks have been a few times where I've had to take that little break that they recommend as a new parent. Like, if you're getting frustrated, just walk away, go sit down, like, have 5 minutes to yourself. The only thing energy drinks do for me is raise my blood pressure. Yep, they do that too. Mine is my heart rate. So I can be sat there thinking everything's fine, and then suddenly my heart rate's like 100, and I've just sat down doing nothing. And I'm like, what happened there? And the answer is I had an energy drink. That's what happened there. But it kind of helped me push through that sleepy window, so it helps when I'm up at 4 in the morning, and it helps when I'm up till 4 in the morning. So it's a combined thing, but I have gone for the sugar-free ones, so I'm not dosing myself up with a bunch of sugar as well as caffeine and other stuff, luckily. But it's strange, because, like, I never used to be, like, the biggest one for energy drinks anyway. Like, I'd have one every now and then. Generally, if Mr. Nerd and I were going, like, on a car journey somewhere, and we were going to be in the car for a few hours, I would normally have one in the car. Like, if we had to be up at 2 or 3 in the morning, even though I wouldn't be driving, Mr. Nerd would be doing all the driving, we'd probably have one in the middle and just share it between the two of us. So that's the only other time I'd normally traditionally reach for one. But then during pregnancy, I really craved one, couldn't have one because the amount of caffeine in it, because you're only allowed 200 milligrams of caffeine a day when you're pregnant. In addition to all the other additives that you really don't want to be putting into your body whilst you are with child. So I was really wanting one and just couldn't have one. And then the other day, I went out with a friend, I got my hair cut, and forcibly made myself feel more human. And my best friend, bless her heart, came out with me, and she watched Wee Man, so I could have some time to myself, where he wasn't physically still in the shop with me, but it gave me time where, when he cried, she dealt with him and soothed him and fed him. And one of the days this week, my mother-in-law took Wee Man for a few hours, and I was able to go out to our Warhammer store and pick up the mini of the month and do some shopping and buy myself some stuff that wasn't just food, for a change. And I was able to clean my house, and I still didn't nap, but I cleaned my house, and I was able to eat a meal whilst it was still hot, which at this point is still unheard of. So it's one of those things where having her around is very, very helpful, and I'm very, very grateful for her, because she made, between her and my mother-in-law taking Wee Man for one of the days over the last 2 weeks, it definitely made it a lot easier. And I had another friend stop in the week that Mr. Nerd had been away, and it really just kind of helped to have the company, because I was feeling, I'm not gonna lie, like, obviously mental health is something I'm very, very passionate about. I was feeling very low and very lonely during the time that Mr. Nerd was working. And that's not me to be like a Debbie Downer or anything. It's important to talk about this stuff. I was struggling, but I'm doing a lot better, obviously, now. Obviously, I am better naturally when he's home anyway. So, but yeah, it definitely helped to have my support system come out in full force whilst Mr. Nerd was away, so I wasn't alone completely for the 2 weeks. And obviously having the Discord to chat with you guys when I wasn't streaming was really, really good. A few times I was just kind of stalking and reading stuff. I wasn't really replying. Most of the time, because it was like whilst I was lying there in bed about to go to sleep, I just had like a little read of the Discord and then doze off for, a grand total of 20 minutes. I will be very, very grateful when he's in a position where we can do some sleep training with little man and hopefully get him into more of a routine where I know set hours where he's going to be asleep and stay asleep. Just because then I know, one, when I can get stuff done, and two, when I can hopefully catch up on some sleep myself as well. Because, yeah, I've spoken to a few people this week, and they're like, oh, how was it solo parenting? And I kind of explained to them, like, how little sleep I've had, and they're like, Jesus, how are you standing? I'm like, I don't know. No clue. Could not tell you for the life of me. And I was like, how's he doing? He's like, he's thriving. Like, oh, that's all that matters. And I'm literally there, like, barely able to stand because I'm just so tired. Still didn't get to the point where I was putting stuff in weird places and remembering where they were, though. I didn't get that level of sleep deprived. So, I call that a win. But I think the most sleep I got a night was like 5 hours for the entire night. That seemed to be like the average, between 3 and 5 hours. Which is still not enough, but if I get 5 hours instead of 3, I will take it. Oh, it will happen. I can guarantee it will, Gray. I know it will. And to be fair, the problem now is because now I've caught up on sleep during the day, I'm a bit like, what do I do with myself? Because now I have all this energy. And I haven't had this energy. Normally between like 5 and 8, so this window now, I would normally be streaming, obviously, with you guys. And because I haven't been doing that for the last 2 weeks, my brain has been kind of switching off at this time of night. Because normally little man is either awake at this point, and I can go and keep him entertained, which keeps me up. And there's been a few times where he's been fast asleep. And then I've been sat there, dropping off, sat up, and I'm like, oh, I could do with a nap. And then the minute I put my head down, he would wake up screaming. I'm like, never mind, we'll not have a nap. But yeah, this is like the most sleep I've had in a very long time. I actually feel human. Had a shower, I've had sleep, I've had a relatively soothed baby overall. So, you know, little things. I'm going to put this to one side. And I'm going to, I've got half an hour, 25 minutes after the stream. I'm going to start online because the rest of that is still wet. I could go in and do the red, but I think just for the sake of little details, I'll do those tomorrow. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on Lion. So you guys get to see a little bit of Lion being painted today. Not much, but a little. Yeah, I'm sure one day over the next couple of weeks I will wake up and like be looking for my phone and it'll be in the fridge. I'm pretty sure that will happen. I can almost guarantee it will happen actually. Right, I'm going to move on to his cape, which for that I'm going to use some Caliban green mixed with a tiny bit of moot green. So I'm going to use the same colour combo that I did last time, or try to, because I want to try and replicate it as much as I can while still making it a bit different. Because obviously this is still a slightly different era of Lion. Obviously there is a long time. Is 30k Lion black as opposed to darkest of greens? He is. So most of him is black, which obviously having Chaos Black as a base is obviously really helpful for that. But I'll quickly show you this up close if it will let me. He's mostly black. His cape is like a dark green. And then he has some cloth kind of stuff, which has a bit of green and some lighter shades in there. He's actually a lot darker now, as opposed to 40k Lion. So he's really, really dark. And a lot of his armour, instead of having gold, a lot of it is mostly silver or kind of off silver. So that's the vibe I'm going to be going for. I'm going to be sticking pretty close to that, except for his cape. I want to make that a slightly more vibrant colour. Because Caliban green on its own is a great green, but it is a little bit bright. So in fact, instead of mixing it with moot green, I'm going to mix it with a tiny bit of Abaddon black. Just a tiny bit. Just to make it a bit darker. Ah, okay, I see. Yes. So he is a bit more macabre in comparison to 40k Lion. 40k Lion is actually a little bit brighter, but I did see someone who basically did the entire thing in just Warpstone Glow, which is obviously a very, very vibrant green for those who don't know. So, not as vibrant as Moot Green, but it's still very, very vibrant. It looked cool. Obviously, I'm happy with the colour scheme I did, where I did a mix of darker greens and blacks, or darkest green black. But I kind of want to make this darker and then use Caliban green as the highlight. But he's got like a nice trim around the edge of this cape, which I think I did gold last time, and I think I'll stick with that, but I'll make it a bit more aged looking. I won't make it as vibrant as I did on 40k Lion. I want him to look a little bit more battle torn, especially because in this case he is literally in the throes of battle. So I want him to look a bit more grimdark in comparison to my 40k Lion, where I've made him super bright and regal. Like, it's almost so dark green you can't really see it that much on the camera, and obviously on a black base. But I can assure you this is a very dark green. But I am happy because he obviously is smaller. I'm happy we went with the helmet this time rather than without. Because I struggled to paint his head on 40k Lion, and his head was tiny in that thing. But I don't have to worry about painting eyes. Therefore, I don't have to worry about making him look creepy. I think it's, by the sounds of it, I think little man's gone to sleep now. So I think in typical fashion, just as because he was awake, bless him, for at least the first half of the stream. But the problem is at the moment, he's in this stage where he'll demand what he wants, whether it's like food, changing, comfort, whatever. And then sometimes, because he's been asleep, he gets himself so worked up that he then overstimulates himself. And then he cries incessantly, and he doesn't know why he's crying. And you try all the basics to kind of soothe him. You go for food, you go for the nappy, you go for a dummy. And it just, nothing works. And then all of a sudden he goes, like, stops crying for a second. Looks at you all strange. I hate painting eyes, me too. Every time I paint eyes, they end up looking cross-eyed or wonky, or, you know, they're in two different postcodes. So I try to avoid painting eyes if I can. I tend to default to helmet options for my Space Marine vids. Yeah, I think, to be honest, not only the helmet's really cool anyway, but it definitely helps because then you don't have to worry about cocking it up. But helmets look cool. So obviously Krytor, he's left now, but he is our first commission. He has sent us a piece to paint for him, which I'm very excited to do. He has sent us Azrael, who's from his Dark Angels. So we're painting him in the next couple of weeks. He'll be having a video done on him. But he wanted a piece painted by us, which we're very, very obviously touched by. So we'll be painting him, and I asked, I was like, what style do you want him in? And luckily Krytor was like, I want him with the helmet. I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. Because I don't really want the first piece I do to be like a face and have him have wonky eyes. Because I would just do white eyes like I did on 40k Lion and make him look almost like angelic, which would be cool. But I don't want that to have to be the default because I suck at painting eyes. So luckily he was like, no, I want the helmet. I was like, thank you. It makes my life a lot easier. And a lot less stressful. But we mentioned it in our face reveal video. We are open like to commissions. We've been open to commissions from the start, but we are now doing the commissions for free. And then all we are asking people to do is pay for postage and packaging. At the moment, that's all we are asking for as far as payment. Just because we're still getting used to it, like we're still new. We've only been doing this a year. And also it kind of allows us to paint stuff for people, and if they're really interested, then obviously then they'll cover the postage and packaging, and we can then produce something pretty great for them that people hopefully like. Key thing being hopefully there. Helmets, because we can't do face. Yes, exactly. But so when I asked, I was like, how do you do this? Please tell me helmet in my head. And he was like, oh, I have the helmet. I was like, oh, thank goodness. That's great. I can do that justice then. I can do it well. Because faces are stressful. They're just stressful to paint in general. Is there any other elements that anyone really struggles to paint? Just curious. But face is, yeah, I like the bane of my existence. And the thing is, it's not even that bad. Like, whilst that dries, I'm just going to wait because I'm going to do some, I'm going to do the other side of his cape as well before I move into anything else. This is obviously my 40k lion. I focus on his face, if I can get it to focus. Over here. You can just about see. Like, I've just done, come on, stay in focus please. Just done some white dots for his eyes. And his highlights I did really well on. Actually, I'm really happy with how his face looked. But I did his eyes off camera and like completely off stream, because the only way I can do faces and like eyes is like, if this is my face and this is the figure, he has to be like here. Because otherwise I just can't see. Because I wear glasses and contact lenses when I'm not wearing those. My eyesight is horrific. I have very, very bad eyesight. I have hereditary eye disease. So as a result, if I'm doing anything fine detail, it has to be basically nose to nose with me. Oh, what are you doing, cat? And if it's not nose to nose with me, I can guarantee no shot is going to look good. There's a few times where I have done it and I'm like, that's not too bad. And then I look at it again and I'm like, why are the eyes cross-eyed? Why are the eyes looking like they're in two different postcodes? And I'm like, ah, that's why. Whilst that dries, I'm actually going to do the lion thing on his lion pelt. That's the word, the pelt. We'll use some Xandri just for that. Eyes are the worst though. I think I'm getting better. Glazing I struggle with, as and I've got to get better at freehand. I'm shocking at freehand. I can't do it. I physically cannot do it. I will eventually. It scares the life out of me, but I will attempt to do it. But this year's challenge, like I said, is get better with contrast paints. Because I suck at contrast paints. Every time I use a contrast paint, I'm like, that didn't turn out too bad. And then I look at it again a couple of days later and I'm like, nah, it's not the best. But that's only going to come with practice. It's like highlights. Like, there's a reason why I used to just dry brush to do highlights and be like, that'll do. And people used to be like, oh, you haven't done any highlights on this figure. And I'd be like, sure I did. I did this thing. And they're like, yeah, that's not a highlight. I'm like, I know. It's because I can't do highlights. But now I'm like, right, no, you've got to bite the bullet. They're going to suck for a while. They're going to suck at first. You've got to just keep doing it to get better at it. It's one of those things. You have to persevere and push through. Otherwise, you're not going to get anywhere with it. So, I did, basically all of last year was base painting. I caught on pretty quickly. Shade painting, all that stuff. I caught on really quickly with that. But yeah, highlighting was a struggle. And now I'm pretty okay. I'm not going to say good, but I'm pretty okay at highlighting. I can do it. And there are some figures, like Lion, 40k Lion, I'm like, that looks really good. I'm really proud of how that turned out. And then other figures, I'm like, what in the world was I doing there? I think streaming definitely helps because it literally... Did you say earlier you have an airbrush? I do, but it's a really inexpensive, like, cheap makeup one that isn't great. But Krytor, bless him, has decided as payment, even though he doesn't have to pay us, is going to send us an airbrush as a present for painting Azrael for him, so we will have a new one soon. If you expect too much of yourself from the start, you'll burn out and get disappointed quickly. Exactly, signed. It's all about painting and learning things in stages. So last year was highlights, get better at highlights, and now I'm pretty okay highlights. This year it's all about contrast paints. I want to get better at contrast paints. Because I just think contrast paints, when done correctly, look so frigging cool. But again, like, I just don't know what I'm doing. They always look a little bit messy when I do it. So look a bit patchy. So I struggle with that. So I think the only way I'm going to get better at it is to obviously learn new techniques and to keep persevering and trying. And obviously over the next year, that will improve. Because the plan for the end of 2026, which I know obviously seems strange to say because we're obviously only in February, but each year, in addition to obviously doing the competitions every month, I want to sit down and do a yearly review of the year. And in that I will count how many figures I've done, techniques that I kind of sucked at the beginning of the year that I've worked on and improved on by the end of the year, and then projects that I'm looking forward to doing in the next year. So... And also what I want to do this year is a few polls and stuff like that, so people can actually give me their input. I'll obviously use the Discord as well. But I want to start doing some polls on YouTube, so people who obviously don't have Discord can give their opinions as well. Just to kind of see what kind of content people want to see more of, so I know what I'm doing is purposely putting out content that is engaging for all audiences. Dutch saying. Oefening Bart Kunst, practiced births art. I'm really... Is it Oefening Bart Kunst? I'm not entirely sure. I tried my best. I'm very tired now. But I tried, but it's a very beautiful saying. I think one of the comments we get here is like, if at first you don't succeed, try again. That's one I've used and lived by for many, many years. Is if at first you don't succeed, try again. And try again I shall. Multiple times. That was very good. It was? Okay, that's good. I'm glad I did okay. Yay. I think all I'm going to have time for today is just painting his pelt and the first layer on his cape. So all I'm going to have time to do online today, but that's fine because tomorrow we'll come back and do more online. Because what I might do actually is completely leave the base as it is for now, really grim them up, and then go in and add some details to kind of brighten it up. So I think tomorrow we'll just focus on Lion. Because now I've started him, I'm like, I want to get him finished. I don't want to do it in stages. Lekker. I think my problem with anything to do with this is, like, I'm really impatient at times. Like, I have patience, but when it comes to doing certain tasks, I'm impatient about it, which is something I'm definitely trying to improve on this year, because I think patience is a virtue. I'm patient with people, I'm patient with other things, but I'm impatient when it comes to stuff regarding myself and my things. Like, I think it's like stereotypical things, like if you're working out, you want to see the progress quick, so you get annoyed, so you stop doing it because you don't get the progress you want. That's something that I've done for years, but that is something I'm trying to change this year, because in addition to it being good for my health in general, it teaches me to be more patient with myself, because there's two things I'm trying to improve on personally this year, and they are my patience for myself and to stop overthinking as much, because I overthink everything to the point that it puts me off doing things a lot of the time. And it is an issue that I've struggled with for years. And especially now with a little one, I really don't want to be spending so much time overthinking everything. I want to live in the moment a lot more and do things. Obviously, having a plan is a good idea, but I want to have a loose plan and then be able to work from that. And but yeah, with this kind of stuff, I'm like, no, I'm impatient in the sense of I want to start a job and I want to focus on it and then go from there. I don't want to stop doing it. I want to just finish it off. So over the next couple of days, it will just be Lion, get him finished, and then I'll go back onto the base. And for that, I will do all the extra details, and I will do Grimdark and make him really gory looking. That is a relatable issue. I think so. I think as people, we are like way too hard on ourselves, naturally. And like I said, over the last 2 weeks with Little Man, there's going to be a lot of the time this year where I'm going to be on my own with Little Man because Mr. Nerd is obviously only home for so many weeks and then he goes back to work. So, obviously, as he gets bigger, it will get easier because he'll sleep more. And it sounds strange saying I'll know him better, but he's still new. He's only been on this planet for 6 weeks. Like, I don't know him yet. I'm still getting to know my own child. So, as he establishes himself as a mini-human, and as I establish myself as mum, I can get back into doing things for me. And those things include trying to work out a few times a week. Maybe not every day, but bare minimum a few times a week. I think at the moment I want to do between 2 to 4 days a week of trying to work out and just physically work on myself for 2 reasons. 1, to be healthier, and 2, to give myself time to myself. I tend to overthink everything. I did during the day or in the past few weeks. I do the same thing. I'm actually seeing a therapist since having Little Man, and I'm not ashamed to admit that because I think it's very important to seek help when you need help. I was diagnosed, and I'm again not ashamed to admit this either, diagnosed with postpartum depression and postpartum anxiety. I already suffered from anxiety and depression pre-baby, so I wasn't surprised when I got that diagnosis. So I'm seeing a therapist to help work through issues to make sure that I'm always putting my best foot forward to work on me as well. And one of the things that she says I need to get over is my fear of fear and to live in the moment more. Those are 2 things, those are my 2 tasks to try and focus on at the moment. So that is what I'm going to be trying to do. So live in the moment more. Did I do this right? Was that correct? And with all that happened, I feel more anxious in everything I do now. Absolutely correct. I'm exactly the same. Like, because you second guess everything, you then go into the mindset of like, I suck, that was really bad, why did I do that? And the minute you do that, you're like, why did I do that to myself? Now I feel bad. I don't need to do that to myself. Now I just feel sucky. But as a result of like having what I have, sometimes I have to rely on other people for photophobia. I'm not sure what it's called, but it's probably correct. My cat is on the desk trying to eat my paintbrushes, as you can kind of see his little feet. But yeah, it just makes you feel bad about yourself. But I think as people, we need to work on that anyway, not be so hard on ourselves. So that is my plan for 2026. One of the plans for 2026 anyway. That got very deep for a minute. Apologies if anybody wasn't here for that kind of content. They were just here for fun, painty content. And it turned into a divulge of mental health. I'm sorry if you didn't come for that. Fear of fear. There you go. That's what it's called. But yeah, mine's like, I do have a fear of fear, even more so since becoming a parent. I don't know if you can relate to that, Gray. Like when you became a parent, like everything seemed scarier or more nerve-wracking. But since I became a parent, suddenly everything was definitely scarier for me. Well, it wasn't even a fear for myself. It was obviously a fear for him and his safety. And it was just awful. I've got something in my eye. That was a bad idea. I just remembered I have makeup on. Why did I rub my eye? Bad idea. There we go. I am going to leave that there for today. And you're not responsible for your own life now. There's someone else depending on you. Exactly. And that someone is literally solely dependent on me most of the time. So it's quite nerve-wracking. But I digress. We will move on from that topic and we will end the stream for today. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. So that is Krytor, obviously Grey. We had Stender. We had someone else who was new. We had a new name appear in the chat earlier on. Who else was here? Trying to remember the name. Obviously we have Bo, he's gone to work now. And then we have Piotr. So thank you so much everybody who joined the chat today. And now we had Summit as well. So thank you everybody who joined. First stream back obviously after 2 weeks. I'm really, really happy to be back and streaming again. Feeling a little bit more like I have some time for fun stuff. And obviously, like I said, for the next week or so, we are going to be solely focusing on painting 30k Lion. So if anybody has any suggestions, then leave them either in the comments of a video of this stream or in the Discord, if you're already in the Discord. If not, you can follow the description in the link down below. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you like what we talk about here, then please subscribe to the channel because we like doing this stuff and I enjoy streaming with you guys. But I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their night, evening, day, whatever time of it is in the world for you guys. And I will see you guys tomorrow night, roughly about the same time. It will either be somewhere between 6 or 7. I will let you guys know tomorrow, depending on what's going on. But again, thank you so much. Smiths Lanesh, got you. I will do something for you. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys for listening to me rant, as usual. But yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow night, and bye.